Hey, Cassandra, welcome to the podcast.
What it do? Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm so pleased. You know, we have a mutual friend that I want to thank off the bat. That's Mary Ellen Slater. She said, you've got to follow Cassandra, and boy, was she right. So before we get started, why don't you just tell everybody who you are and what you're all about?
For sure. And shout out again to Mary Ellen. You are a rock star. I appreciate you. Yes, I'm Cassandra Worthy. I'm the founder and CEO of a leadership development company called Change Enthusiasm Global. I'm also an author, and as a part of my work, I also get to do a lot of keynote speaking all around the world. Honored to have been named one of the world's top 50 keynote speakers. It's one of my favorite things that I do. But ultimately, I empower people to harness the power of emotion to fuel growth through change.
You know, when I think about the word change, there are so many models out there, and I know we're going to talk all about that, but I'm someone who believes in self-leadership, the art and science of individual accountability. Easier said than done. And I think you've got a really interesting story, a story about discovering yourself, a story about recovery that may set this conversation right, because you've been through the ultimate change personally and professionally. Can you tell us a little bit about your story towards recovery?
Truth. So I'm a chemical engineer by trade. I spent 15 years leveraging that degree in corporate America. It was all predominantly at Procter & Gamble, so consumer packaged goods. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My career enabled me to travel all over the world. It inspired my love of culture, of experiencing the new, as well as just solving complex problems, which is something that I also enjoy. But it was a career that dealt with a lot of change, a lot of really big multi-billion-dollar acquisitions, and going through that type of change where it feels like you didn't ask for it, it just shows up at your door. It swings the door open, it pops you across the face, you're laying on the ground, you're bleeding, you don't know why. And so I went through a lot of that turmoil and a lot of that change. Now, as I was moving and having a lot of success in my corporate career, there was another career that I was becoming a master in on the side, and that was my drinking career.
As a former HR practitioner myself, teaching the old change curve was so depressing and also not realistic, not for today's age. So tell me a little bit about the change curve and where this is all headed in the 21st century.
I love the question, and thank you so much. It's so relevant for what I've been doing over the past several months. So we're now elevating the work to officially modernize change leadership. And to modernize the change curve, it's based on Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's work back in 1969. Yes, it has the Valley of Depression. Yes, it is a linear base. Yes, it was originally inspired and comprised to define the journey of an individual who just received a terminal illness diagnosis. So it's about managing terminal illness, right? That's how organizations are defining the human journey through business change. It is so time that we evolve from this. I cannot tell you, Lori. So I'm so thrilled to be introducing the modern change growth cycle. This thing is nonlinear. This thing is dynamic. This thing understands and allows for the backslide that happens, right? When you think you got it all figured out, something else hits you and you're like, good gracious, I'm frustrated again. It allows for that. It allows for the cyclical nature of change, right? The inevitable that can happen. When you're moving through change, you're taking choices, making choices one after the other, and still signal emotions or those difficult emotions are inspired. And so it accounts for the dynamics, for the nonlinear nature of change. And you can enter this model through any internal or external stimulus, right? So it's not just, hey, we've got a change initiative. Let's get this change management change curve off the shelf. This is something that once you get it off the shelf, you never put it down because it is founded on the change enthusiasm mindset, right? This practice. You practice it. The more you practice it, the better you become and the more change ready you become.
The time, the energy, the emotion that's just wasted over stuff that should not be a big deal, but often is a big deal. And I think, you know, a lot of people say, you know what's going to fix all this? AI. We're going to get AI and we're not going to have the drama anymore. It's just going to be efficiency, productivity. Everybody's going to be great. We're going to be walking around with like digital devices on our wrists and we're going to do work that way. I don't know when we're going to get rid of being human, but apparently that's on the docket in 2020. You tell me what's coming up with AI, especially around change.
Oh, thank you so much for the question. AI is the thing, isn't it? And I have been playing around in it for months now. It is incredible. It is so powerful. I am so excited to be living in these times that I think this is the greatest general purpose tool invention that we've ever seen. I think
Yeah.
that humanity has ever seen. It's exciting times and thrilling times. But here's what too many people are missing, and they got to open their eyes if we're going to make this thing work. It is not the technology itself that is going to be truly the accelerant and that will move us the way that we need to go, right?
Yeah.
The power of the potential of AI is only as great as the mindset that's been anchored and practiced in the people required to adopt the technology.
Yeah.
And so we have to get the mindset right. And for me, that mindset is change enthusiasm. For me, that is about being change ready. For me, that is about having that view of curiosity, knowing that in every change, every new AI tool, every integration, every new thing that happens, oh, there's opportunity here. How can I use this to help me be better, to help my organization be better? It's the mindset that you're ingraining in your organization that will accelerate the adoption of AI and really any other change. You know, it puts me in mind, we work with a lot of organizations that are going through digital transformation. More and more, that's about AI integration.
Oh, yeah.
And they're these technologists, they're the folks that are coming in and bringing the change, and they're so excited about the tool. The tool is amazing. Once, people use it, it's gonna take off, your business is gonna be so efficient, it's gonna be amazing. And they will launch this thing, nobody adopts it.
Yeah.
Nobody adopts it. And this brand new thing with all these whistles and people are like, nobody's adopting. Yes, that's because the mindset's not there to embrace it. So we got to get the mindset right. And that's why I feel a call now greater than ever for the work that we do to work with these organizations around the world to instill the mindset that is imperative to accelerate the AI adoption.
One of the other things that you really bring to the table is you've got this wonderful book that I can't recommend enough. So can you tell everybody what the experience is like when they get the book? What are they reading about?
Oh, I love it. So the book is called Change Enthusiasm, How to Harness the Power of Emotion for Leadership and Success. It was launched in 2021. I wrote this book from the pull from my client base. And the intention was to bring the theoretical into the practical, right? So I'm talking about emotions, the emotions of change, harnessing the power of that. And so I wanted to bring it to be very real. That book has a lot of exercises in it, a lot of prompts for you to really put this into practice in your day-to-day, because the promise of the mindset of change enthusiasm is the practice, right? It starts in the pain. It starts with the frustration, the signal emotions. But the more you practice it, I talk about those neural pathways, the neuroplasticity, the more you practice it, the greater your resilience muscle grows and the more change ready you become. So the book is all about practical application. There's some real world examples in there. Of course, my own journey, my own story is in there as well, including what we talked about at the top of the conversation. And it's just been incredible, the way that the book has been embraced all around the world in so many different countries. And it has reinforced for me that regardless of where you grew up, regardless of the culture of the country that you grew up in, you're an emotional being first.
Love it.
The way that those emotions show up, the way that you communicate those emotions, the way that they show up within your body is different, right? Different culture to culture, person to person, that's different. But it doesn't negate the fact that they are there and we're emotional beings first.